is Roger Rayle, who will talk to us about technology, environment, and community systems. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
And if we do them over lunch, we'll have more time to talk.
Did I stay on time?
Somewhere.
Did I stay on time?
Yeah,
Pretty
we're
much.
running late, but yes.
All right, I'm going to shorten my 20-minute talk down to 5 minutes.
Ooh.
Whatever you want.
I have the timer. 5 minutes.
That's 30 seconds there.
See if I can do it. All right, I'm Roger Rayle. I started out with CSF when I was still a student here, and we got spun off. And I'm going to actually sit down because I'm going to be able to change a lot of the slides as I'm going here. And through a whole bunch of spin-offs and mergers, and then ended up reconnecting with Sandy, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that on Google Earth.
Right.
So I've done a lot of stuff with Google Earth since. Most notably, watching over this Paul Gelman 1,4-dioxane groundwater contamination. I'm going on my 19th or 20th year now dealing with this, now with Google Earth, obviously. But Google Earth has really helped a lot in terms of being able to present a lot of information concisely and help people make decisions based on it. The challenge over the last year or so is getting the data, because the company cut off the data. Maybe I mentioned that last year. And we're just about getting resolved on that, so it's back to maybe what it was 2 years ago. What we really want is direct access to their database. The Paul Corporation is doing the groundwater sampling of their dioxane in our waters of the state, and we think the stakeholders should have direct access to that. So we're still working on that. But in the meantime, they're going to send out piecemeal sets of the data, and the state has to pay taxpayer money to recombine it into a database, which just doesn't make any sense. But this is a picture of a depiction of a three-dimensional plume as it's heading east, and some of it's heading north, and some of these flow lines here indicate that it may end up in Barton Pond, where Ann Arbor gets 80 to 85% of its water. So that's kind of important. Less important, maybe not so much, I did some mashups of tornadoes. And if you take the tornadoes and you normalize them, this is what it looks like. There's some, tornadoes usually come from the southwest, they usually go this direction, but there's, like the biggest one ever that they have record of went straight north, and some goes southeast. And we had a recent one in Dexter just this year, and it started here and ended up here, and I live here, so it's like 2.5 miles away. I was concerned. It hailed like 5 times. I had pictures of hail coming down in bunches that I'll show some other time. And if you put that on here, it's this little yellow mark here. Oops, I have to go back. This little piece right here. So it's kind of a normal tornado except for the direction it's heading. So by using tools like Google Earth, you can kind of get an idea of what's really going on with reality. Here is all the car deer exits inside in actually Washtenaw County in the South Township. And there's a version of this where you can actually see the accidents as they get posted in Google Earth. I don't take the time to show that now. But the deer don't respect deer crossing signs. It's amazing. Yeah. The other thing I've been working on is with the Huron River Watershed Council. They're having a water trail. They have established a water trail for the whole Huron River, and it helped tweak their Google Earth so they can show all these little placeholders of what's going on along the river. They'll have signs along the river so people can navigate their way, and they even have QR codes on the signs, so if they have a waterproof iPhone or something, they can look up more information as they go on their trail. Less important but more local is like the Waterhill Music Festival. How many here at Ann Arbor know about Waterhill Music Festival? So I helped the organizer do a map for that so people could find their way around among the 74 hours of music that's done on people's front lawns and porches in 4 hours. There's no city permitted. The city said, "Do you want us to shut down any roads?" "Oh, no, we don't." It's completely non-commercial. The only thing they do is sell T-shirts to raise a little bit of money for the flyers, things like that. And basically, the streets shut themselves down when there's 400 people in front of some guys, some famous man's house. But it's quite a happening, and it'll be again in the spring. And then I've done a similar thing for Arts Beats and Eats. Arts Beats and Eats Royal Oak, unofficial map that kind of shows everything that's going on. So you can kind of, this is something you can get on your own. I don't believe that's. And then, so that's Google Earth. And the other thing I've been doing a lot of is video.
I think that's your timer.
All right, so I blew the time.
Just news.
First time I used that. I'll still try to get through this. I do a lot of videoing. In addition to this, I do A2 New Tech Meetup, which is typically 5 young companies talk for 5 minutes of what their plan is and get hammered by the 80 or 90 people in the audience for another 5 minutes. So a lot of startup stuff. It's going on for like 3 or 4 years now in Ann Arbor. I won't go through all those right now. There's a spinoff called Detroit New Tech, which is, I don't know if you've ever been to downtown Detroit, what's going on down there, but it's really exciting. All the young people that are going back there. Dan Gilbert's buying a new building every 2 or 3 months, filling it up with developers. So if you need any mobile development, Ann Arbor and Southeast Michigan is the way to go. I also help with the ACE Annual Collaboration for Entrepreneurship, which this last December announced Startup Michigan, which is part of Startup America. And I also do a monthly video of CEO Connect, which is a meetup of CEOs in Ann Arbor. And I did one a year ago of this guy at his farm in Camden.
How did CSF start?
Yeah.
Bart Burkholder and
Bill Drake?
Bill Drake were going down to interview for jobs. It was that time of the year, as the engineering school, the end of the semester, and you go down and you interview for jobs down the basement of the building. So I waited around after school was over and after the hours for me to go home to see how they came out. And they came up to my office and we talked. Well, I said, but we didn't get any jobs offers that we liked at all. We wanted to do what we were doing here. And what kind of jobs were you looking for? And they said, they got offers from the Ford Motor Company. I forget some, was it Bell Labs or something? I don't know.
The late Bell Labs.
But they said, we wanted to do the kind of work we were doing here at the university. Well, Bill did, I don't know, Bill had worked on a project on in the hospital on redesigning the cafeteria lines.
That was the first project?
Yeah, that was his first project, yeah.
Well, I mean, anybody in the IE department did. That was the first one.
Yeah, and redesigning the cafeteria lines. And I forget what Bart, in fact, I think was it the one you were on in the hospital? I mean, the library?
Yeah.
Were you on the library part?
The library started and then community development division, and then you ended up working there too.
So that's what they wanted to do, they said. That's the kind of jobs they were looking for. They didn't want to work in a factory or something. They didn't know what it was like, but they knew they didn't want to do it.
So whose idea was to set up the nonprofit to do that?
I said, well, why don't you guys set up a company that hires you?
Right.
And they thought that was a good idea. So I said, well, let's meet tomorrow night here, and I'll write up the articles of incorporation, and we'll see what we hear.
Anyway, that's enough of that. I'll put this up so everybody can see it later. So that's the kind of thing we want to do for the histories.
Where did you get that?
Where did I get that? When I visited you last summer. It was just my little, it wasn't the video camera, it was the still camera with the video thing.
Roger, you better speed up the process with getting these interviews from everybody.
Let's see, what was this one? This was, oh, this is one of the big things I help with, is Ignite Ann Arbor. How many people know what Ignite is? It's kind of like a mini TED Talk. We had number 7 here in Ann Arbor, but I'll just give you a little taste of this. This is, for the first 6, we had 1,820 slides from the first 6 Ignite Ann Arbors. So this goes on for 5 minutes. And that was, and this person's Mr. B. This was the halftime at the current one, the latest Ignite Ann Arbor. And this is Concentrate. This is kind of like an online news thing, and I do their videos. This was happened to be at Mark's Food Carts. Talking about food cart culture. So these go up once a week, or once a month at least. And let's see what else I got here. Oh, this is one I do every week, is lunch. Well, it used to be called Lunch Hour Marketing, now it's just LA2M. It's marketing education. We have famous speakers come in. So here's one with Brandon Chestnut this last week. So that's the video part, and then so I'll probably do about 2 hours of video on the average, 2 or 3 hours of video on the average a week. So this week my average will go up 3 hours. Then I also do other visualizations like motion charts, which is similar, is based on Gapminder that Hans Rosling uses the same, I guess this is the same data set that you guys have, right? So I have data on the Paul Gellman thing showing what's really happening with the wells over time and what's going on with the static water levels as they change over time. So that's basically doing a lot of taking of data and making it into information and getting people together that need to be together. I call myself an information consultant, but I've recently added another borrowed title from another guy as a venture catalyst. Because you rub elbows with many things happen, and I don't have to change. So that's what's going on, and I'll be doing more of this in the coming years. As I'm in my extended transition, my friend who's an executive coach, don't say you're retired. So I came up with extended transition. As among a bunch of you also do this kind of thing. So try to keep the ideas churning and keeping things happening locally. So that's it.
Well, thank you very much.